REST API is basically standard way of designing API for any microservice application. REST stand for representation state transfer. Okay, it means that when you are hitting a request to basically from client to server, then you are using a RESTful APIs. It means that the state has been you are basically trying to hit a database by utilizing your microservice component, and then for the, let's say you are hitting an API for the user and want to get the details of the user. Those details is actually being stored in your domain driven database, right? So in order to um, this is very important thing, and the user security and user information is also important for us. So how we can apply the API security? The first way of applying API security, before the your request reaches to the server, then you have to apply API security. The second way is, when your request is going to reach to the server, then make sure that proper WAF rule has been configured web access in the web access firewall. Like it will check whether the payload contains not sensitive informations, and then this API should reach to your lend to your server. Okay. Third thing, we should apply a rate limiter. So how you can apply a rate limiter? You can utilize the API gateway as well. So why do you want a rate limiting app in your you need to implement a rate limiter? It is because if, let's say, I am constantly hitting my database n number of time, and let's say client write code to make a fun, like while true get me the user details, it is unnecessarily going to hit the database, and we don't have any preventive checks, right? So it's very important to apply rules on the API gateway that will prevent the API after let's say 10 times the API has been hit by by the given user, then block this API for a certain amount of time. Okay, so that is why rate limiting is a very important way by which you can uh, 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 secure your API. Another thing is authorization and authentication. Basically, authorization and authentication both are two different things. Authorization means that, let's say you are logging with the Google account, okay, Gmail account. You got the authorized code, okay, from the any technique like OAuth of 2.0 or the JSON Web Token. But let's say even though you got the validation token, then we need to authenticate you from the role based access control rule, like whether you are able to you are a right candidate to perform certain action or not. So for giving you an example, if you are a contact center, if we are giving the contact center persona, there are different contact center personas in which there can be evaluators, managers, agent. So let's say if I am going to authorize, if I am not providing any authorization to agent that you can evaluate another agent, okay, then it may have then agent which is handling the contact center account is not allowed to not allowed to evaluate another agent. So that is known as the um, what is going to authentic authorization, right? So authentication and authorization is another important thing. Another thing is, like if you are adding some unnecessary inputs to by hitting the API payload, whether if you are authenticated and authorized, but then you have to write a code to validate your input. So these are the way you can improve the security of API. Cheers.